Mr. Sam and his wife Dushima had always dreamed of returning home to Anambra during the festive season. It had been a long year in Port Harcourt, where they lived and worked, raising their two children, a bright-eyed boy Chima and a gentle daughter Mimidu. Dushima was heavily pregnant with their third child, and the family was eager to reunite with their relatives, celebrate the season, and welcome the new baby. One early morning, with the air heavy and thick like a warm blanket, they set off on the journey from Port Harcourt to Anambra. Their car was packed with gifts and food for the festival, and the children were humming songs of joy. The road between Owerri and Onitsha was long, winding, and sometimes lonely. But their spirits were high. They talked about the celebrations ahead, about the new baby's name, and about the stories their parents would tell. Suddenly, as they drove past a quiet stretch of road, Dushima spotted a woman standing in the middle of the highway. She was heavily pregnant and was crying softly, her face streaked with tears. Something about her struck Dushima deeply. Without hesitation, she told Sam to stop. Sam, a man known for his kindness and generosity, slowed the car to a halt and opened the door. The woman climbed in, still weeping quietly, leaning heavily against the seat. The children looked at her curiously but said nothing. Sam offered her water and tried to comfort her as they resumed their journey. But almost immediately, the peaceful air shattered. From the shadows of the nearby bush, a group of men suddenly emerged. They were armed, their eyes cold and hard. Without a word, they surrounded the car and forcefully dragged Sam, Dushima, their son, their daughter, and the woman into the dense forest beside the road. Fear gripped Sam's heart like a cold hand. He held his wife close, shielding her swollen belly, and pulled their children near. The forest was dark, the trees looming like silent sentinels. The men spoke harshly to the woman, who now revealed herself to be no pregnant stranger but a cruel trickster. One of the men stepped forward and gave Sam a terrifying demand. He must choose who among them, him, the heavily pregnant mother, Chima, or Mimidu, would be sacrificed by having their head cut off for a ritual sacrifice. Sam's breath caught in his throat. His mind raced. He thought of Dushima carrying their unborn child, of the innocence in his children's eyes, of the future they all dreamed of. He was their protector, their breadwinner, their guide. How could he bear to lose any of them? With tears streaming down his face, Sam made his choice. "Choose me," he whispered, voice breaking. "Take me, not my family." But the men were merciless. One of them rejected Sam's plea. Ignoring his decision, they grabbed the boy Chima. Sam screamed out for his son, his heart shattering in 1,000 pieces. The boy looked back at his father, eyes wide with fear and confusion, before he was taken away. The forest echoed with Sam's desperate cries, Dushima's sobs, and the silence that followed, the silence of loss, sorrow, and of a family forever changed. The family was left shattered, bound by grief that word could never heal. Their journey, once filled with hope and joy, became a nightmare etched in pain. The road from Port Harcourt to Anambra would never be the same, not for Sam, not for Dushima, not for their little daughter who survived but carried the weight of that day forever in her heart.